Dicke! Hey,
how's it going, everyone? Good. Yeah, I want to talk about the NRA today. So Wayne LaPierre, he was the head of the NRA for a long time, and he resigned. He quit. He's facing charges of corruption, that he stole tens of millions of dollars, and he used that money for like private jets and trips to the Bahamas, and the corrupt head of the NRA is gone, and clap if you think that's a good thing. People think it's a good thing. Which is confusing to me. Genuinely, it feels like people are saying, oh man, this guy that stole all this money from the NRA is gone, so finally the NRA can become an efficient, well-oiled machine. Because I look at myself, I care about gun violence. I look at myself and I ask, what have I really done to prevent gun violence in this country? I've liked an Instagram post. I shared a news article. One time I agreed with a guy at a party. But Wayne LaPierre went out and actually stole $64 million from the NRA. He defunded the NRA more than any of us. He's so corrupt, he made the world a better place. And that's beautiful, that's beautiful. I'm sure because that's a lot of money. $64 million, that's a lot of money. It's enough where it made a difference how corrupt he was. I bet there were days when Wayne, I'm calling him Wayne, I bet there were days when Wayne woke up and he thought, today's the day. I'm getting rid of background checks. But then he checked his iPhone and he realized, oh man, it's 85 degrees in the Bahamas. I can be evil next week. I learned that the NRA is a non-profit. That's why he's in trouble. That's messed up. I thought non-profits were always good. Anytime someone tells me I work for a non-profit, I'm like, oh, they're going to heaven. I didn't know you could have a bad non-profit. It's, one sign that the NRA was probably committing fraud is that it's supposed to make no profits, but there were $64 million lying around for Wayne to steal. It raised a lot of money. This is like a bigger thing, but isn't it amazing how easy it is for the NRA to raise money and how hard it is to raise money for a good cause? If you want to raise money for an evil cause, there's mysterious super PACs and shadowy wealthy donors that will give you $1 million checks. But to raise money for a good cause, you have to dress in a Santa suit and collect change outside the grocery store. Does that make sense? You have to sign a petition that says, for every mile I run, you'll donate $1 to cancer research. Why is raising money for a good cause so hard? I feel like if you're going to be a nonprofit, the NRA should have to raise money like every other nonprofit. The NRA should have to raise money like the Susan G. Komen Foundation. You should show up to a high school track and people are walking, and you're like, is this a race for the cure? And they're like, no, it's walk for the Glock, actually. To raise money for a good cause, you gotta go through all these little loopholes, like these weird little legal things. A significant part of the public school budget is earning box tops by eating cereal. What is that? Does that make sense? In this room, collectively, if we stopped eating Lucky Charms, they would take away AP US history. Why is it so hard to raise money for a good cause, man? The NRA is contentious because at the heart of it, no one knows what to do with the Second Amendment. We have no idea. There's this idea that when the Founding Fathers wrote the Second Amendment, the year was 1776. So when they said everyone can own a gun, they meant Revolutionary War guns. And they never would have approved of modern guns. Which I think is wrong. I think the Founding Fathers would have loved modern guns. Do you guys remember social studies class? When they would show you that diagram of a Revolutionary War guy and he's reloading, and he has to like put a wet rag in the gun, and then he has to like put the bullet in there, and then he takes like a long stick, and he's like, and they're like, the whole process took him 3 minutes. And it's like, yeah, that whole 3 minutes he was just thinking, damn, I wish this was an AR-15. The Founding Fathers loved guns, man. People have a hard time admitting it, but the Founding Fathers are so much closer to January 6th guys. It's true. These are guys that hung out in the back of bars and wanted to overthrow a government. They're just January 6th guys at heart. But we remember them fondly because all the images of them are oil paintings. And oil paintings convey a sense of great importance and emotional drama and heft. Like that beautiful oil painting of George Washington crossing the Delaware. I mean, what he's doing is he's ambushing people on Christmas Eve. But it's an oil painting. Imagine if that was a cell phone photo of 12 guys from Reddit crammed in a kayak. The amendments are backfiring, man. They really are. When I was a kid, I thought the First Amendment would be like to protect journalists and to prevent a George Orwell 1984 style government. Instead, the First Amendment just gave Dave Chappelle 7 Netflix specials. They're backfiring. I don't know. I think part of the reason that, like, I don't even know if the NRA is truly to blame for gun ownership in America. Like, I think it comes from something much deeper, which is like, we have this very American idea of revenge. There's this idea that's very concerning to me that, like, someone would come onto your property and you're allowed to hurt them. But it's so deep in our psyche. That's the plot of Taken, John Wick, Kill Bill. You know what's actually done the most to increase gun ownership in America? It's not the NRA, it's the series of movies called Home Alone. That's such a conservative fantasy. Like, at heart, the idea that you'd own $1 million suburban mansion and that 2 guys would come and try and steal your kid out of it and that the kid would have to defend himself. It's like an infomercial for the NRA. And Macaulay Culkin is going through his, like, desk drawers and he's finding, like, paint cans and marbles to throw at them. But the whole time he's searching for a gun, you know? He wants to find a gun. Such a conservative movie. Because it doesn't promote conflict resolution. The movie takes place over like 48 hours. Macaulay Culkin could have woken up on the second day and he could have told people what was bothering him. He could have talked to his neighbors. He could have called the police. He could have explained what he was scared of. But instead, Macaulay Culkin has a bumper sticker on his car that says, "In this house, we don't call the police." And he resorted to violence. To American revenge violence. It's a fantasy. I think if you're an adult man and you own a gun, and you have this fantasy of a home invader, that's no different than like buying a broom and going out and pretending to play Quidditch. It's functionally the same. It's this like private fantasy you have. The difference is, like, with Quidditch, you're going out there hoping to make friends. And when you buy a gun, like, in your heart, it's an American fantasy because you're praying to make an enemy. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Give it up for Sam Dicke. How great was that?